There's so much. It's so rich and diverse.
Mm. Yeah.
You know, um, that's so good. I'll have to share. Have to share some other celebrations.
So much. It's so rich and diverse.
Oh, so rich and diverse, said he. Well, speaking of rich and diverse, look at this. You're playing music that's over 250 years old. So he's going to take us way back. This is for our final performance seminar of the month, 31st of October. It's our 6 o'clock session. We've got Miss Vibhuti here with us. So, all right, Miss Vibhuti, go ahead and introduce yourself and what you're going to play for us.
My name is Vibhuti and I'm going to be playing Prelude by Bach.
Oh, you left us hanging. Almost there. Well done. How was that for you?
I think it went pretty well for like first performance seminar attempt. It could have gone.
Right, right. Of course, but this is the beauty of coming into seminar because it reveals to you the things that you already know really well, but also strange things that might happen along the way, right? Good. I think you're pretty accurate from the notes perspective. You pretty much got it all there. The only thing that you need to double check is this big chord over here, right? A flat, C flat, F flat, A flat. Pretty much it's just an E major chord. All right. So just keep an eye out for that there. Um, what do you, when you play, what are you aiming to create in terms of the mood of the piece?
I think the piece is kind of like mysterious. Like
Hmm.
there are so many different chords and transitions. That's complex. So I guess
Yeah,
I'm trying to aim to get all those transitions and to get the melody in the right hand to be like smooth.
yeah, yeah. One of the I agree. It's like, speaking of rich and diverse, this is rich and diverse. There's a lot going on, and in order for everything to speak clearly and evenly, you want to keep the pulse really clear.
Mm.
Yeah. So that as each chord arrives, it's really clear. Okay, now we're here. This is the next chord, and now we're going to the next chord. So the one thing I'd suggest, if you're not already doing it, continue working with the metronome, right? Keep the metronome going, and even if it's just 3 beats per measure, dum dum bum ba da da, right? Just let that be your anchor. Anytime that the chords change harmony, really listen. Really listen to, is it bringing light or is it bringing more shade, right? So when you have these chords open up, right, the sound between this chord here and this E flat chord is quite different. So listen out for that, right? Let the harmony dictate how you play. So the best thing to do is play everything straight and then come back to it and be like, okay, actually, this has more richness or openness than this chord. So you might want to give that a little bit more emphasis, right? And then whenever you have the melody over the top, allow that to sing, right? These chords here is like the strum of a guitar, right? You can imagine he would have been brought up listening to old music that would have come from the medieval times, right? Madrigals. This is Baroque, so it came after that period. But gentle strumming of a lute, and then the singing over a top. So the melody is always going to sing over the top. Sometimes you'll have these kind of harmonies here, right? Just an E flat harmony, E flat minor harmony, and then a dominant 7th harmony. You see how they crush, the D flat is in there, and then it opens up, right? So play through each of the harmonies just very slowly. That's what I'd say. And just ask yourself, is it bringing lightness? Is it bringing shade or darkness? Is it asking a question? Yeah. Do you feel that anything that you've just played, was anything resolved? Or was it is it a continual question? Or a mix of both? What would you say?
I think it's a mix in both. Like when it ends,
Mhm.
or like when it transitions into a different part of the piano, then kind of like, or when it's a higher key or lower key, then I think it's changes.
Yeah. So I mean, play around with that. Well, let's hear. Oh, we're in the minor, then all of a sudden, F major. Here. Then back to B flat minor. All right. So this is what I mean by playing everything just very still and very in time, so that you can get a clear idea of how the harmonies evolve. Yeah? This here, da, 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 da. It's always interesting to see dynamics being put in the music because the instrument they had at the time couldn't create dynamics, a harpsichord. So this must be from an editor. That being said, if Bach did have access to a keyboard of dynamics, he may well have made this forte. Da dum, da di dum, ba da dum. So this is it's very what's the word? We say here it's very clean, it's very decisive, but it's always broad. Ma sempre largamente. So give it more weight this here. This is the first time that you're hearing single lines, right? That are moving for at least 2 measures. So just keep that in mind as you just build out the architecture for the piece. Yeah. I think the best teacher that you'll have there will be your own ears. So now that you've run it, listen back to this recording and just ask yourself, are there places that you can push it a little bit more or pull it back? And what do the harmonies actually mean as they evolve? Once you get that there, you can have more of an overview of how it's structured. And then write in. You don't need to write in exactly what the harmonies are, but you can write in an adjective. One harmony might feel settling. The other might feel unsettled. The other one might feel hopeful. I don't know, right? Just do your own emotional analysis of how the harmonies progress through. And then how are you going to build to this part here? Da 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 dum da 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 dum ba bum ba bum. Right? You could argue that this is the peak of the whole piece. Yeah. So I think what I'm trying to say is take more time to just be with the harmonies. See if what they mean to you. See if you can translate them in your own words. Let that guide the overall arc of the piece. Otherwise, this kind of music can drag on. It just goes on and on. You're like, so what are you trying to say? And this is one way that you can do it. Yeah. Cool. Do these ideas make sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. This deeply emotional movement emanating from the inspiration of a devout dreamer is Bach's prophetic forecast that in the fullness of time a Chopin would arise. Get out of here. What? What? Who wrote this? Whoever is able to look beyond the external form or to penetrate into the depths will admit the mysterious affinities subsisting between this prelude and Chopin's etude. So what are they trying to say? They're trying to say that he was a futurist, like he was this kind of music, he was looking ahead. Maybe he was. Maybe this music was ahead of its time. Interesting. While the tone of the pianoforte, by reason of the instrument's mechanism, naturally increases in power and sonorous in the descending scale, the melody requires, on the other hand, that intensification as a general rule shall be accompanied by an increase of tone power when ascending, but beyond a certain pitch. So that's pretty much saying that as the piece rises, right, because there are no dynamics, you can naturally build it, and then as it comes down, then you bring back the volume. Interesting. If you haven't read it already, take some time. Some of these notes are real just flowery with their words, but some of them actually do make sense. Anyways, all right. Hope that was helpful. Come back again when you finished it. Give yourself like another couple of weeks. All right, Mr. Buti, have fun. Make sure you get all the best candy, okay? If the candy's not